Hey, this is the C&D channel. I'm Chris. This is MMA for you. I'm going to be doing my post-fight analysis for UFC Fight Night 32. Overall, it's a pretty good card. The only fights are kind of stinkers. Would be like Cesar Ferrer versus Daniel Serafian. All the other fights, though, quite honestly, I thought delivered were either good to great. You know. So yeah, there's a lot of knockouts. A couple cool submissions as well. As far as bonuses go, Vitor Belfort got knockout of the night. Adriano Martins got submission of the night. And Akhmadov versus Perpetuo got fight of the night honors. Picks weren't too bad either. 7 out of 11. The 4 I missed would be Dustin Ortiz versus Jose Maria. Adriano Martins versus Darren Cruikshank. Omari Akhmadov versus Tiago Perpetuo, and Jeremy Stevens versus Hanid Jason. Okay, let's get started. Vitor Belfort beat Dan Henderson by TKO in the first round. It was by kicks and follow-up strikes. This is gonna put Vitor Belfort in a both guys after this fight are in interesting positions in the UFC, but for different reasons. Vitor Belfort now has his third knockout win by head kick and follow-up strikes in Brazil against top 10 level competition. So, yeah, he knocked out Michael Bisping with a head kick in the second round and follow-up ground and pound. Luke Rockhold by a spinning heel kick and follow-up ground and pound, and Dan Henderson. One thing you gotta say about Vitor Belfort, man, is, dude, this guy is a shark. When he smells blood, when he sees someone wobbled or dropped, I mean, he just swarms the guy. I mean, seriously, he's notoriously good at that too. I don't think. I mean, some fighters will swarm, but Vitor he sees it right away. I mean, that's a crazy thing. And you know, he dropped. Hendo was going for an overhand right. Vitor countered with an uppercut, followed with some vicious ground and pound. You know, Hendo gets up only to get head kicked, and it was over. I mean, Hendo, I knew eventually someone would crack Hendo's chin. And to Hendo's credit, he took a lot of shots. But, you know, he's still got a really good chin. But Vitor, I mean, the guy hits hard. He's really fast. And, I guess you got to talk about TRT here, you know, because it's a big part of it's actually a part of the, well, kind of the narrative to the fight in a sense, but the narrative as to, like, what happens with Vitor next. Does he fight in the U.S. next? Would it be in Nevada or maybe in a state like Texas, which has a more lenient athletic commission? You know, is he even you know, he said in an interview he'll drop TRT if he gets a title shot. Where does the title shot go? 205 or 185? 185 most likely, despite the fact that this fight was at 205. So that's the thing too. On Hendo's side, this is his last fight on his UFC contract. You know? But Dan Henderson is now on a 3-fight losing streak, all to respectable guys. Machida, Evans, and Vitor Belfort all beat Dan Henderson. Does he stay with the UFC and get a pay cut? Or does he go to Bellator or World Series of Fighting? Does he retire? He's 43 years old. He just got knocked out. So, you know, it's really interesting to see moving forward where Hendo goes. I can't really predict it. There's a lot of things that can happen here. If Belfort doesn't get a title shot next, because Dana White, from what I've read, is a bit wishy-washy. He says, yeah, he's next, but. There's always like a but an injury could happen. But something crazy could happen. or even he'll say that like this guy gets a title shot next, but he doesn't get one. You know, if that's the case, assuming that Belfort doesn't get a title shot, I would say he can get like Jacare would be a good one, or the winner of the one that I'd like to say is the winner of Machida versus Musashi. If he doesn't get a title shot, how Belfort would do against Chris Weidman. He better hope that Chris Weidman wins, because I don't think he beats Anderson again, unless Anderson gets old. Stylistically, actually, Weidman's not a good stylistic matchup for Belfort. Weidman can take the fight to the ground, probably keep him there a while. But it's so interesting, because with Belfort, he has fight-changing power in his stand-up, and he's fighting more conservatively. It's a really interesting proposition, and middleweight in general, assuming that like Belfort's next fight is at middleweight, it is just really interesting. You don't really know. There's a lot of moving parts in the division now, a lot of top fighters in the division that also are one or two fights away from a title shot. Next fight after that, Cesar Butate Ferreira beat Daniel Sarafian by split decision. Don't know why he got a split decision. I thought it was pretty clear unanimous decision. Despite that, the right guy won. It was kind of a grind fest. It's nice to see a guy like a Cesar Ferreira train with the Black Zillions with a guy like a Kenny Monday and utilize his wrestling or newfound wrestling skills. He's hitting double legs on Sarafian and completing that pretty often. It's just a new thing in his arsenal. He didn't do much when he was down there though. So that's the other thing. It's one thing to gain new wrestling. It's one thing to be able to do something when you're down there. For his kicking game, it's really strong. His punching game is not that strong. He's getting countered by Sarafian a couple times. Sarafian needs to cut down to 170. The guy's only 5'9". He's bulky for the weight class. But that's the other thing too. He's just really bulky. Palhares managed to do it. Lombard and Marquardt all managed to do it. I know every body type's different, but I think Sarafian needs to do it too. Ferreira is big for the weight class, but he's now becoming something of the norm for the weight class. Look at Honey Marks, Yoel Romero, Tim Bosch. You guys are just huge for the weight class now. It's very common, I think Cesar Ferreira should get the winner of Liebman versus Hall, Luke Barnett, who's coming off a good win over Andrew Craig, or the winner of Leite versus Herman. Okay, next fight is that. Rafael Fejal Cavalcante beat Igor Prokorac by TKO in the first round. This was kind of funny in a sense if you actually look at the fight again. Cavalcante gets the tie plum and just starts kneeing the body and head of Prokorac. And then he starts throwing right hands. And for every right hand that he throws on Prokorac will slump down even more. So he gets hit, slumps down, gets hit. He doesn't quite fall down after the first hit. It's like every hit is pushing him down even more. It was, I don't know. I found out somewhat humorous, I guess. Whereas, good one Cavalcante, he looked flat against Thiago Silva. Look good here. Prokorac probably gonna get caught. He's on 2 fight losing streak now. It could 3 if Joey Beltran didn't get popped for steroids. But yeah, just James Huna before us, and now to Fejal got knocked out too. It's nice to see Fejal. Physically, he didn't look so flat in this fight.
And he's a former Strikeforce light heavyweight champion. He's fought some good guys. I think Faisal kind of needs to get some of the fight, his next fight should be someone out there. I'm thinking the one Anthony Peras versus Bader. Maybe even the win of Shogun versus Duna. I always wanted to see Faisal versus Shogun. I thought that was a really cool fight. Okay, then after that, Brandon Dutch beat Paul Duggar by sub with a submission by strikes. That's his knees, man. This guy just has some really brutal knees. He's definitely a part of a new generation of welterweight. Ryan LaFleur would kind of there too. You also got like Hungy Lim, Gunnar Nelson, who was from generation. I mean, Rory Mack and Dick Albert there, of course. I think these guys, I think Brandon might actually be the generation after those two. But, you know, okay, it's taking a back beat. You know, he's potent, especially style. You know, I like water. Step up competition. He just needs to Ortiz hit the back of the head a couple times. One thing I was noticing with Jose Maria that I didn't like was he grabbed shorts a lot too. He grabbed Dustin Ortiz's shorts a lot in this fight. You know, I liked what I saw from Ortiz. Solid wrestler, technical stand-up. You know, just more lower to mid-tier guys for Ortiz at flyweight. But he's a really good addition to the weight class. I liked what I saw from the guy. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my UFC Fight Night 32 post-fight analysis. If you got any comments, just leave them below. That's it for MMA for you. Thank you guys very much.